Okay, so the next application is optical grating filter. Okay, so in optical grating filter, as you can see over here, we have number of gratings um, available over here over the substrate. Okay, so the specifications for optical grating filter is the value of refractive index n1 for a refractive index of a substrate, and next the grating refractive index, which is n2. Okay, the value of refractive index is 3.5. You can check this particular typical value of the refractive index. N1 correspond to silicon dioxide and N2 corresponding to silicon. Okay, so this is something like a silicon on insulator structure. Okay, apart from that, the other parameters are D, which is defining a grating width which is of 0.1 micron, and we have over here a 50% duty cycle. That means in 50% duty cycle the grating repeat itself. Okay, and on the basis of this duty cycle we can evaluate it period of a grating, and it is definitely a 0.2 micron. Okay, because the waveguide, this particular grating width is around 0.1 micron, so I have to leave a space for 0.1 micron. Again the grating will start at 0.2. Okay, so the period is 0.2, after which the grating will get started. This particular grating filter is having a stop band at around 300 terahertz. We are defining these particular specifications, and we are designing this particular grating filter. So the typical spectrum is something like this. So you can see, if I run the simulation for a quite a uh, quite a wide spectral width, so we have a 3 stop band over here. Okay, why I'm saying stop band? Because as you can see, the observation point over is present over here at the start. That means we are considering the reflection waves. Okay, that's why it is showing. So the reflection is showing as a stop band over here. Okay, or you can see the reflection spectrum over here. Okay, so these particular frequency will get transmitted through the grating, and these particular frequency would get stopped and reflected back. So you can see we have a stop band at 300 terahertz. Okay, and again we have a stop band at around 600 terahertz and 900 terahertz. Okay, so we are going to replicate this particular result. So now you can see we have OptiFDTD designer, and then click on new. So it opens a simulation window. Okay, and now first we are going to define a simulation domain, or let me first define a material. It's better to define a material first. So I directly click on materials. So we have a profile designer over here, and again uh, we are using a dielectric type of material. So I simply add new, and over here I am making the name as N1, and the value I am substituting as 1.5. Next, material is N2, and its value is 3.5. Okay, storing these two values. Next, I am creating a channel profile. So right click on the channel and click on new, and now I am writing a channel profile for grating. Simply writing as a profile grating. Okay, and now in grating profile I am simply selecting a material as N2. Now this is a 2D simulation. Okay, that's why we are not defining anything over here. Simply I have created a name and then provide a material over here and click on store. Next, in the designer, okay, in the designer I double click on the simulation domain, so the wafer properties will get pop out, and the wafer domain I am defining a wave length of a wafer as 2. width of 1 micron. Okay, so this is a by default values, so I am using these particular things. And in 2D wafer properties, I am making a material as N1, okay, which we have defined for a substrate having a refractive index of 1.5. So N1 is having a refractive index of 1.5. I simply click over here, okay, and then click on OK. Now this is all the substrate and the wafer design we have done. Now we have to create gratings over here, okay, and for the creation of grating, what we have to do is and simply use a photonic crystal uh, property over here, okay, photonic crystal component property over here, okay. So with this PBG crystal structure, I can make arrangement in such a way uh, to make a grating, okay. The second option of linear waveguides and manually select a parameter and create a grating, but it is a very tedious process, and it also have a possibility to have uh, a wrong value of periodicity or any other parameter. So better we can use a photonic crystal structure for making a grating. Okay, so I simply click on PBG and then simply click on the wafer. Okay, so this is a one atom which we have created. Now I have click on the select, make changes in the properties of crystal structure so that it looks like a grating. So I double click on that. You can see we have a crystal lattice properties over here, and in that particular crystal lattice property, first I am defining the value as 0 0. Okay, so the offset value and expression value both 0 for horizontal and vertical. Okay, and click on evaluate so that it get changed. Next, what I rectangular, so I do not change this particular thing. And next we have a lattice dimension. So in the lattice dimension, as you can see, the periodicity we have created over here is 0.2 micron. Okay, so the value of periodicity is 0.2. So that periodicity value we have to define over here in the scale. Okay, so I simply write 0.2 over here. Next we have a hash A and hash C. So these two parameters are basically used to represent X and Z direction. Okay, so hash A represents, so uh, okay, so in opti FDTD this represent X and this represent a Z direction. Okay, and Y is perpendicular to our screen. Since we are using a 2D structure, we do not bother about a Y axis, we only have a X and Z axis. So X, you can see we do not have any periodicity. If we look from this particular side, we do not found any periodicity over here. Okay, so uh, since X we do not have any periodicity, so hash A is 1. Similarly, in Z direction we have enough gratings, so the number of gratings which we required we have to substitute over here in hash C. So let us suppose we have 10 gratings, so we have 10 gratings over here, so I am simply writing 10 over here. Okay, next in the in this particular atom cell, now this is all we have. Now we have to shape that particular structure. Since we do not want a crystal structure or a circular or elliptical type of, we require a rectangular segments. Okay, so we need to modify this particular uh, this particular segment, okay, or which we call as a unit cell. Okay, so here we have a unit cell which is of a linear waveguide type, so I simply click on over here and you can see we have a linear waveguide. Okay, so in this particular linear waveguide, just a second. So in this particular linear waveguide, we click on new. Okay, and then click on edit. So the properties dialog box open here, okay, and in that particular property dialog box I am changing the value of a, so I am making a horizontal as 0.1 and making offset value 0. Similarly, in vertical, we do not want any change in, so I simply click on 0, 0. In the end, I want expression to be 0.2, 0, okay. And now you can see I am selecting a width as a 1 micron, okay. And we do not bother about the depth because this is a two-dimensional structure, okay. And the profile I am selecting as a pro grating. Okay. So I think you understand why I have selected over here 0.1 and 0.2, okay, to make a cell, to define the cell dimension, okay. So I have started from 0.1 and added 0.2, okay. So the cell dimension is nothing but a okay. So simply click on OK and OK again. So this is all we have performed for a crystal lattice structure, okay. I guess it is clear to all of you why we have defined this particular crystal lattice structure, okay. So now click on OK. So you can see we have a gratings defined over. Now I want to start, we have around a 2.5 micron vapor width and we want to start grating from here. So I directly click on PVG structure, double click on that and make it to 0.5. Okay, so all our structure will get shifted to 0.5 value. So I think it is clear to all those who are listening me, okay, how do we define a gratings in this particular wafers, okay. So next what we need to do is we need to create a source, okay. We need to create a source and then we make a observation point so that whatever the wave we inject over here will get reflected and uh, written to that particular observation point, okay. So first we are doing a observation source, so I simply click on that, and since this is a z direction which I have already told you, or you can see over here in, okay, I have to first create a layout, then it will be, okay. So you can see we have this a z direction, this is a x direction, okay. So in z and x direction we have a source. Next we have to make a point. So first I am selecting a properties of an input plane. So in this particular input plane what we require is the continuous wave, okay. And since I have already told you that the I got a band at around 300 terahertz, and making the value of wavelength as 0.15 micron, which I have taken from the, so it is something around 600 terahertz. It gives a center frequency of 600 terahertz, okay. And in 600 terahertz also we have a band gap, okay. So I have selected a value to cover this particular complete region, okay. So I am making a pulse dimension in such a way so that we get a very wide very broad band to cover all the frequencies. So you can see I have make a wavelength as 0.5, okay. And now I'm selecting input field as a rectangular, or you can select as a Gaussian also, and making a z position as 0.25, okay. Now click on sine modulated Gaussian pulse. So we want a pulse to be look in such a way so that so in 2D transverse wave, the center position I am making is 0.0 and half width is 0.5. Okay. Now in this particular thing, which is a very important segment, we have to define a spectrum in such a way so that we can cover almost all frequencies. So if we can consider a default value, you can see we have covered all the frequencies. Okay, so from 0 to about 1000 hertz, it is covering all the frequencies. Let me change the value over here. Suppose if I am making the value as 1 over here. Okay, so now you can see the spectrum will get changed, and if I make it to 1.5, so we have a time uh, domain in such a way, and we get a spectrum which is looking something like this. Okay, and the center frequency that I have already told you, if I make a wavelength at 0.5, so corresponding to 0.5 micron, we have a wavelength, we have a frequency around 600 terahertz. Okay, so it automatically calculate the 600 terahertz. Okay, so this is all uh, in the input setup, and as you can see, okay, so I click on apply and click on OK. So this is the setup at the input side, input plane side. Now I am making observation point. So click on observation point and click on OK over here. Now double click on that so that all the values get shown over here. So making the value of offset to be, first I am making it to 0.125. Okay, I think you all are understanding why I am writing this particular thing, since the grading start from 0.5. Okay, so I have put a source as 0.25, and now I am making a observation point at 0.125. Okay, so signal will get injected in this particular waveguide and then return back and then couple in this particular thing. Okay, if I put it over here, then all the signal first count at the observation point. Okay, so we do not make differentiate which one is a reflected wave and which one is a actually the excitation wave. So that's why we are creating an observation point at this point so that we can inject a wave over here, and then the reflection whatever we got is get counted over here in this particular observation point, and then we have a 0 at the offset, 0 at the vertical, and this. Okay, so we have a 0.125 over here, and the vertical we have a 0. So simply we do not bother about the center depth and just click on apply and OK. So this is all from the uh, setup side, and now we start a simulation. So in simulation, I simply click on either a 2D simulation or simply click over here, double click over here in this 2D simulation. So you can see uh, we have a TE mode. Okay, and by default the mesh size of X and Z is counted over here, and typically the value is 110 effective index, a minimum value of the effective index over here, and we have a time step which is automatic counted. Okay, and it run for 1020. So right now I am not making any changes over here. Okay, I am making it to default, whatever the values system has selected, I am not making it to change. First we try to analyze why do we need to change these particular parameters for actual evaluation of our result. Okay, so I click on run over here and save this particular as tute grating. Okay, so you can see how fast the simulation run, and now I am opening a analyzer window. So in the analyzer window, I have made one small mistake. Okay. Let me first change the boundary condition. I have not discussed anything about that. Actually, as you can see over here in the simulation, uh, I'm sorry to skipping this particular segment. First, I have to make a boundary condition also. Okay, so click on advanced. You can see we have a X and Z. Okay, so uh, we have to select a specific boundary conditions over here. So we have number of options available over here. First one is a perfectly matched layer, then uh, PEC, PMC, and PBC. PBC is perfect periodic boundary condition. Okay. Uh, okay. So first we have to analyze how do we place this particular boundary condition. So as you can see, the Z dimension we have a signal running. Okay, so we want the signal to get decayed at the ends. Okay, so that it would not reflect back uh, uh, and distract the observation point. So we want perfectly matched layer at the Z direction. Okay, we want a perfectly matched layer at the Z dimension. Okay, so whatever the signal go away from the gratings or will get absorbed at the boundaries. Apart from that, in the X, whenever we have a periodic boundary conditions, okay, or we have a plane wave, then we have to select a periodic boundary conditions. Okay, when we have a periodic type of structure or a plane wave expansion method using or plane wave associated with our structure, then we have to use a perfectly periodic boundary conditions. Okay, so at plus x and minus x we require a PBC over here. Okay, so I click on OK, and then I again click on running a simulation. Now we can see that in the analyzer window we have a observation point over here, and in the observation point, as I click on the observation point, you can see we have a electric field in the time domain, and this particular electric field in the time domain is decaying. Okay, selected a sufficient time so that it get decayed properly. So there are certain points which we have left and which we do not uh, get output on that particular point. So we have to select a time in such a way so that the electric field component would get decayed. Okay, apart from that, this is a uh, time domain. Now we are going to see a frequency domain analysis. So in the frequency domain analysis, you can see we have this type of random graph which we are not able to understand. So we are changing the specification, okay, by clicking on this particular symbol over here, which is representing a DFT specification. So I am making a first I am changing it to frequency, okay, and then click over here in terahertz, and then okay. So I am making the change over here as 100, and then 1000, and sample points we are considering as 100. So you can see we have a these three particular uh, peaks over here, which is showing the reflectance, okay, at this particular point of a grating. So now you can see the structure is something like this. Okay, uh, since we have selected a frequency, as you have remembered over here, we have selected a spectrum in such a way, that's why we got an output which is having a nature in this particular dimension. Okay, so we need to normalize it, okay, so that we can easily visualize the stop band of the structure or the reflectance of the grating structure. So you can see we have this particular grating structure over here, the reflectance of this particular grating structure over here, in which at 300 we have this particular reflectance, at 600 and at 900. But now again the reflectance is of fluctuating nature, and we have already seen that in the time domain we do not have a selected uh, a time period in such a way so that complete electric field would get decayed. Okay, so uh, we have to again run a simulation in such a way so that we can avoid this type of problem. Okay, or we get a smoother curve, okay, which is representing over here. So I am again running a simulation. Apart from that, okay, so I am again running a simulation in 2D to make a parameter change. Okay, so now you can see by default is this particular value. Now I am making it to change it to 0.05, and this again 0.05. Okay, and now I am making the simulation run. First I click on auto and then remove all those things, making it to round off value, and then run for a simulation for a sufficient number of times so that all the electric field would get decayed. So by default it is selecting a 3.54. Now I am making it to 30,000. Okay, so that it gets sufficient time to decay all the values. Next, at the DFT spectrum, I am making a arrangement so that we get a specific value over here. So you can see the number of samples I am selecting as 100, and start wavelength. So I am using a frequency. So start frequency I am considering as 100, and end frequency I am considering as 1000 terahertz. Okay. So for that particular specific region, DFT spectrum, uh, we get shown over there at the analyzer window. So now we again run a simulation and see how it changed the visual in our graph. So it takes a little time, okay, because we have selected a time step to be 30,000. Okay, before that it was 2,000. Okay, now the simulation is completed, and okay, so this is the analyzer window, and if I open on the observation point, now you can see the time is sufficiently long enough to decay a electric field over here. Now if I click on the frequency domain analysis, you can see we have this particular stop band. Since this is a wavelength, I am changing it to frequency and again normalize it. So we get a very smooth curve over here. Okay, so now you can see how we can change the parameter so that the value would get uh, modified according to our requirements. Okay, so again we get a sharp spikes over here. Okay, and we do not have a smooth curve that represent the, we still require the time step to be much larger value so that we get discretization in such a way so that we get a smooth curve. Okay, rather than these particular spike values. But I think it is sufficient to make you analyze how we can perform a simulation for optical grating. And you can see we have run for 30,000. If I run for the time step value 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh, then definitely we'll get a smooth curve over there. Now suppose if I want to make a parameter sweep in this particular grating structure, suppose if I want to modify the value of this particular grating thickness, okay, we have by default we have selected this particular grating value to be 0.1, and if I want to check how the result would get modified if I change the value of this particular thickness from 0.1 to 0.2. Okay, so for that we have to run a parameter sweep. Okay, so again, for a parameter sweep, what we have to do, I simply click on photonic band gap structure. Then in the linear waveguide, I have to parameterize this particular thing. Okay, this particular thickness value. So I click on uh, atom cell and then add it, and then over here we have a horizontal expression where we have defined a 0.1. So by default we have considered a 0.1 thickness and which end at 0.2. So rather than directly writing over here, I am parameterizing it. So I click on the variable and function. Okay, I just click on this particular fx so that it directly open a variable and function, and I am defining one more parameter, thickness, over here. Okay, and the default value I am making it to 0.1. Okay, and then click OK, and then rather than writing an expression over here, I'm simply writing a thickness over here. Okay, so I am simply writing a thickness, and at the end value I am writing 2 multiply thickness, because we want a value 0.2, and by default value we have created for thickness is 0.1, so it is 0.2. Okay, so again we have a 0.1 and 0.2 over here, and now click on apply and OK, and again click on apply and OK. So now you can see we have parameterized this particular thing, and now we can run. So for running a sweep, again I click on simulation, then click on parameter sweep. Okay, so in parameter sweep we click on parameters, then you can see we have defined only one parameter, so it is popping out over here. I click on OK. So in thickness, I have clicked on thickness, so we have total 5 iterations showing over here, and I am making it to change to linear. So I simply click on thickness, and then in the spread tool click on linear. Okay, so the start value I am considering as 0.1, and then the end value I am considering is 0.2. Okay, so by default it is considering the value from 0.1 to 2, and linearly it is distributing all the values in the further iterations. Now click on OK. So now if I run a simulation, 2D simulation, now you can see we are not modifying these particular things. Okay, I am making it to 0.1 so that the simulation will get little bit faster, and making it to auto so that we get a value, and now rounding out, and again making it to default value. Okay, so that I get a simulation for a specifically larger time, and then the number of samples I'm creating from 200 to okay, so I start a simulation at around okay, so I am making it to 100 to 500. Okay, so that I get the only first band, stop band. Okay, so I am running a simulation for only specific period of time 3154, and you can see as we have selected a parameter sweep, so over here it is automatically checked out to be simulate using sweep. Okay, now click on, it will start running a simulation for total 5 iterations. See, I have saved the file as Tude Grating. Okay, the name of the file is Tude Grating, and as I have completed a simulation, so we have 4 analyzer five analyzer actually file generated over here with the name. So at the last analyzer window, I have to click and open so that all the results would get we can view over here. I mean to say, for visualization of all the previous analyzer window, we can check the result at the last window. So you can see I have run a simulation for 0.1 to 0.2. Okay, so this is the last simulation. That's why it is not showing any space in between the gratings, because the thickness is 0.2. Okay, and the periodicity is also 0.2. That's why it is only showing a linear waveguide type of structure. Now if I click on observation point, or I click on, okay, I have made one slight mistake. Actually parameter sweep result will not showing in the observation point. So I have to create a observation line over here. Rather than observation point, I have to create a observation line. So I am creating observation line in Z direction and simply clicking it, and the length is 10 expression 0.125, then 0, then 0, 0. Okay, evaluate, apply. Okay, now again I am simulating. It takes only few seconds to run a simulation. Okay, now the simulation is completed, and again I am clicking on this particular last file of this particular dude grating. Okay, so that all the result of the previous iterations will get shown over here. Okay, in this last file. So this is a window 4, and now in the tool you can see we have a parameter sweep analysis. Okay, so on clicking on the parameter sweep analysis, you can see we have this particular. On clicking on that, we have a power spectrum on observation level. So if I click on that, you can see we have a power spectrum showing over here. Since we have running a simulation for quite a smaller number of time, that's why it is showing lots of spikes over here. Okay, it is not properly visual, but you can see you can easily get all the result over here. So for thickness of 0.1 value, we have this particular thing. 0.125 value, we have this value. Likewise, we have different values. Suppose, okay, so now you can see we have different observations over here for different value of thicknesses. So as we keep on increasing the thickness value, the this particular value would get this particular width would get decreases. Okay, so you can see here we have a very quite a larger width. Now here we have a slighter shorter width, and then we have a, and at the end we have nothing to show over here. The value is quite low. Okay, because we do not have any gratings present over here. So you can see by this way we can easily run a simulation to make a parameter sweep for analysis of a optical grating filters. Okay,